Welcome to Capital City News, your source for staying informed and engaged with Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Brian Young with Salt Lake City TV. For our episode today, we spoke with Captain Lightfoot from Salt Lake City's Fire Department and Emergency Management Team about emergency preparedness. Our History Minute dives back into labor history in the state and looks at the Deseret Dramatic Association. Before we get to those, let's do our legislative update, take a look back, and a look ahead.
At its September 7th meeting, the City Council received updates on the latest crime statistics and approved renaming the People's Freeway Park to the Ballpark Playground. At its September 14th meeting, the City Council voted to extend the emergency order that allowed the mayor to require masks in schools K through 12 and received updates on issues ranging from COVID-19 and homelessness to racial equity in policing. To learn more, visit slc.gov/council. The mayor and police chief Mike Brown held a press conference recently at Pioneer Park to talk about the downward trend of crime they've seen this year so far. There's still a lot of work to do to make the streets safer, but they assured the assembled audience that things were heading in the right direction. The Salt Lake City Council voted to extend the emergency order related to the COVID-19 Delta variant for another 30 days, meaning the subsequent emergency order by the mayor for masks in K through 12 schools is also extended. Remember, the COVID-19 pandemic hasn't gone away. Make a plan to get your vaccine, wear a mask if you have to leave your home, and keep up the social distancing. Salt Lake City was honored with a national award from the National Association for Public Participation for innovative public outreach done for the 300 West Corridor Reconstruction Project. Here's a look at the project.
300 West's pavement was in failing condition and we needed to reconstruct the street. And we were given that opportunity by a voter-approved bond passed in 2018. We really wanted to take advantage of that opportunity and not just build back the road how it exists today, but reimagine, rethink what the road can be to meet the needs today and also thinking about the future.
When we looked at the core values for the project, we knew that we wanted to reach the stakeholders that were directly involved by the work being done on the project, by those just outside of that, and then just generally the public at large. We also know that not everybody learns and can participate in the same way. So at the very outset of the project, the core values helped guide us to develop a process that was inclusive of everyone. For business owners and people who were directly impacted by the work, we held workshops with them. We also went out to the Gail Miller Homeless Resource Center. We also worked with the city's Accessibility Advisory Committee and held a mobility tour. This was a tour where we had about 30 members from the community with disabilities come out onto the project and take our project engineers and our designers on a tour of some of the things that caused challenges for them. And we learned a lot of really great and very specific nuanced information that we might not otherwise have been able to use in the design.
Many times city planners, they know about individuals with disabilities, but they just kind of go to ADA guidelines from the United States Access Board, and they don't talk to residents in the city. And so they might make decisions like the chirping bird sounds years ago that they think will be the right thing for individuals with disabilities. But really the chirping bird sounds are kind of a distraction when I'm wanting to cross a street. When they talk to us and they make us a part of the design phase when they're putting these types of things together, it's a lot better, and it's a lot, it feels like we're a part of the city as well, and the city planners are thinking about us. And we know they do, but when they include us, it really makes it for an awesome partnership.
The most important part of this project was that we received diverse public input. That was the spirit of this project from the beginning, and we want to make sure that we incorporate that moving forward. There were many stakeholders and many staff and just many people that we engaged with to make sure that we incorporated all feedback so that the public can see that their feedback to us was important. We are very excited about the reimagined 300 West and how many of the accommodations and the recommendations for accommodations that we receive will be included.
Thanks to the voter-approved Funding Our Future bond, road construction in Salt Lake City continues as fast as it can be arranged. For our road construction update, we'll take a look at 300 West as well as Folsom Avenue.
13th South at 300 West will fully reopen in both directions on September 26th. In August, we replaced a water line that was 100 years old in the intersection. We appreciate your patience during construction on 300 West and encourage you to visit the area during off-peak hours to avoid delays. For updates on 300 West, please follow us on @SLCMoves or go to 300westslc.com. Folsom Avenue is one of our Funding Our Future local streets projects. These local streets are residential streets that need to be improved as determined by our 2017 Pavement Condition Survey. We are currently paving Folsom Avenue, and earlier this summer, we replaced the water line, added sidewalks, and built better drainage in the road to prevent flooding into nearby businesses. We are excited to see this project wrap up. For more information on local streets projects, go to slc.gov/my-street.
For more information about these projects or any others as part of our road reconstruction efforts, be sure to visit slc.gov/bondmap. For our interview, we spoke with Captain Lightfoot from Salt Lake City's Fire Department and Emergency Management Team. He talked to us about National Preparedness Month and how you can protect yourself and your family in an emergency.
September is Emergency Preparedness Month. Even from the federal level down to the city level, down to the neighborhood level, it's very important for all levels to be prepared for an emergency event. As part of the Emergency Management Division, we have 2 specialists that go out into our communities that help them prepare for these emergency disasters. One of these is our CERT team leader. This person goes out into our community and teaches the community how to do light search skills, how to do emergency medical type things, how to take care of their families, and how to organize as a group and work together. As they work together, they can take care of themselves, and then they can take care of their neighbors as the fire department, the police department, and even FEMA can then move into their communities and help them be safe and get the assistance that they need. To ensure that all parts of our community are able to understand about emergency preparedness, we have a multicultural liaison. This liaison goes into the communities and teaches all the people in their language, at their homes, in their churches, wherever they need to be, to make sure that we do not leave any of our people out of the instruction and the education that we have for them. And this is very important for us because, again, we know that our communities is the first and most foundational piece in successfully mitigating an emergency situation. We know that the community members are the people that are going to be responding first to a major event, an earthquake, a tornado, a wind event, a flood. So as we are able to prepare them to take care of these events, they are able to take care of their families, and they are also able to take care of their communities. We have a website that's bereadyslc.com, and on that website it has 4 steps. Those 4 steps are make a plan, build a kit, be informed, and get involved. And the individual stages of that are the first 2. Make a plan and build a kit. Making a plan involves talking to your family, knowing what kind of events that could happen in your area, knowing that there could be an earthquake here, a flood, a windstorm, and then being prepared for that. Helping your family understand how are they going to get out of the house? Are there 2 ways out of the house? Do you have an upstairs and do you have a downstairs? And if you do, teach your family and your kids how to exit the house and then be prepared to meet someplace in order that everyone knows where everyone else is. And in major events, oftentimes the phone systems are not working, so it's very good to have contacts, especially out of state, that we can contact family members out of state to let them know where we are and how things are going and what we need, and make sure that your family knows those contact numbers. Also, we have pets that are often involved, so we have to make a plan for our pets. The next thing is to build a kit, and build a kit for each person in your home. That goes for the young babies, toddlers, adults, teenagers, and your pets. And in that kit, it generally involves getting 9 things together in a backpack that you can take quickly and survive for 96 hours. Oftentimes in the past, we've always heard a 72-hour kit, but it seems that statistics say that it takes 96 hours in a large event for the community to actually mobilize, get to us, and get the food and items that we need. In that kit, there are things such as water, food, clothing, and with clothing we have to remember, is it summertime or is it winter time, and then adapt our clothing to the season that it is. And so those kits need to be updated. Also in there needs to be our medications, our personal hygiene, maybe a light source and a radio. Again, at BeReadySLC.com, we have a printable version of how to put these kits together. We also have videos on there that tells us the quantity and how to put those together. So if anyone has any questions and needs more information and wants to either watch it or print out those printable versions, they can go to BeReadySLC.com.
Now it's time for our History Minute. One of the first trade and labor unions in Salt Lake City might have been the Deseret Dramatic Association, formed within the first few years of the pioneers' arrival into the Salt Lake Valley. Acting in Salt Lake City under the predominant religion to that point had been viewed as something like a free service akin to missionary work. Their first collective ask was a letter sent to Brigham Young asking him to open the tabernacle for their performances. Young refused, but the social hall was quickly built for their use by 1852, and the Salt Lake Theater wasn't far behind. Their next ask came in 1864, when they requested payment for their services as actors. Young agreed to pay them for their efforts. With a place to perform their art and pay in their pockets, they eventually disbanded in the 1870s, and other artist collectives and unions took their place. That's it for another installment of Capital City News. Remember, the best way to stay engaged is to stay informed. You can do that by following us on social media at SLC.gov, subscribing to us on YouTube, or watching us on Channel 17. So, reporting in from Salt Lake City's Public Safety Complex, I'm Brian Young.